Well, good morning, boys and girls. BP back here. CP's in the truck, waiting for me to friggin' say go. But for you guys that are new and haven't caught up to any of our videos from before, so when we're unrolling wire, so this will be this third installment of how to build a 4-strand fence yourself. And anybody can do this if they just put the time and effort into doing it, right? So anyways, showed you guys in my last video how we do our H bracing, and this is our wire unroller. So just a piece of 2x2 square tubing that slips into the receiver. You pin it in there. It's just got a 1-inch rod welded to the 2x2 down here underneath, and then I put a piece of flat bar on it just to give it stability. An old disc off a discer, and you set your roll on top. Easy as pie, right? Then you wrap your wire on, 2 wraps on this end right here, and we're ready to unroll. As the wife drives, it just unrolls, simple as that. So I'm gonna sit down the tailgate here and watch it, and just to make sure it all unrolls nice as the wife drives. Okay, babe, let's rock and roll. And yeah, waiting on a woman, just like the song. She's giving me the finger. But that's it, just like that. You don't want to get going too fast, otherwise that roll will get to spinning really bad, and you could end up eating the freaking thing. It's not rocket science, and it's not a friggin' race as to see who can get it done first. You just want to get it done. So she's got some rough stuff that we got to deal with when we're unrolling here. Now every once in a while, you guys see that wire? It's about 5 feet, 6 feet away from the fence. Every once in a while, I'll holler at her to stop, and I'll grab that wire and give it a pull and give it a flip to put it along the edge of the friggin' fence line where it's supposed to be. But this is how we do it. This is how I like to do it. I said in a previous video, at one point I thought about building this thing so it'll actually unroll 4 wires all at once, or heck, even 2 wires at once, which is nice also. But for how much fence I have to build left, that's good, babe. I gotta get her to stop here and we'll flip this wire. I'll show you guys how we do that. I'll get her to step out and she can video this for me. Come on, come on. Here you go. Now if you guys are a little bit city-fied, make sure you got some half-decent gloves. Mine are a little chewed up. But, like I was saying, you gotta get that wire against the fence. So all you do is you grab that friggin' wire and you can give it a flip, and as you give it a flip, a twist to roll it in.
You're in the way.
Well, you need to move me to the side. So see that? Couple flips. You go about 75 yards, and it's not so bad when you're trying to flip that wire. Anyway, we're gonna get rocking and rolling here and get this wire run out, and I'll bring you guys back when we're at the end. Terrible. You're terrible.
I know.
Anyway, guys, like I said, I'll bring you back when we get to the end. Well, we're at the end. And there's our line. There's the end of the roll on the ground right there. So you can run a 1/4 mile on a roll of wire. Anyways, we got our ancient rope stretcher hooked up over here. So this stretcher, you can't just hook it to the post. You got to have a piece of wire. So I just use a piece of scrap wire, hook it to right there. And then you hook it on down here. That's about 8 feet. And we'll give that a pull and stretch some of that friggin' second line. This is a four wire fence, just like that one over there. And this will be the same. So while I pull my guts out on here, on that rope, I'm gonna hand it over to the wife so she can video this.
Sorry.
Grab it.
I'll grab it.
You're terrible. She's in one of them moods today, I'm thinking, guys.
Isn't it hump day?
Hey?
Isn't it hump day?
It is Wednesday.
Oh.
And you bring it over like this and lock her into place. My old man is gonna be watching this at one point or another, and he's gonna say, I can't believe he's still using that old thing. Yes, Pa, we're still using it. God dang it. So then once I get a good 8 feet pulled out with that, I'll hook this guy up. And this thing is just a ratchet puller. And clamps on like that. And these are spring loaded. And then you get to pull your guts out with this sucker. If you're making fence the way I do, I like it tight. Like it tight, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Release. Here, you hold that. Oh. You showing this?
Pull. Now he's gonna whip me.
Pull. Pull, pull, pull. There you go. Now I know some guys, they'll just take the wire, tie it to the back of a quad if they're using a quad fencing, or the back of their truck, and they'll just drive with it to pull it tight. But personally, I don't really like doing that, because with a quad it wouldn't be bad because you'll never break the wire with a quad, but on the back of that truck I could snap this wire, overstretch it.
Okay.
That's tight. You hear that? Get up closer to the wire. You can hear it fucking just like a friggin' guitar. Just tight, baby. Tight. The way you want him. Where's that flyer? And you want 2 wraps on each end? Somewhere around here. Should get me my 2 wraps. God, I hope so. Give yourself a little extra if you have to. Some people might say, what's the space between the wire? Well, the space could be whatever you want, depending on how tall your posts are, but myself, I got lots here. I didn't need as much as I took. But what I try to run for is about 10 inches. Now, being that we did 2 wraps, just that one little wrap right there should hold it. Just like that. And it's from underneath, over top. You gotta have at least 3 wraps on here. I got lots here, so I'll just trail it off, wrap it around, like so, double it back. That way it's not gonna hook on anything. Just like that. And number 2 is done. We're gonna continue on, and once we got 3 and 4 all stretched out, we'll bring you guys back. Talk to you then. Alrighty, she's coming together, guys. Unrolling nicely. We're on a 4th wire. So as we unroll, I like to staple the wires up every once in a while, just so that when I go to stretch the wire that we're unrolling, they don't get tangled up on one that might be on the ground. Like that 3rd wire, it's touching the ground in spots, just where you might have a little hump in the ground. In other areas it won't be touching the ground because there's a little bit of a valley. But if the 4th wire, which is this one that we're doing right now, our last wire, if I flip it over, just stop, babe. If I flip it over and it gets tangled with that one on the ground, then it's a son of a bitch to pull, and you end up just getting them tangled up, and it's, yeah. So we're gonna stop here. I'm gonna put a couple staples in, lift that one up and put it in position, and then I'm gonna take this wire and give it a flip. Back in a bit. Here we are, guys. Snapshot. Now, when you're unrolling, if you get unrolling too fast, you could end up with a little bit of slop, and or loose wire, I should say. I call it slop wire. But anyways, and then you'll get this in it. It'll loop around on itself like that. You don't want that, because when you go and you pull that wire, then you'll have a kink. It'll kink right there. It'll pull that loop, it'll pull it, but it won't pull it straight. Lots of times, 75% of the time, it'll pull it and it'll kink the wire right there, and that's wherever it's kinked is where it's going to break. So you got to watch for that when you're unrolling the wire. The wife is just going down, way down there, because we got some tree stumps sticking out that it would catch on, and it's not snug against the fence, against the post here. So I'm going to continue at stretching this off, and we'll bring you back in a minute. I'm going to put the come along stretcher on it. You guys saw me do it way down at that far end. So here we are with the 4th wire, and we're going to do it at this end now. So we'll be back in a bit. Alrighty, guys, so here we are. We got all our wires stretched. The bottom one in spots is just sitting on the ground, but it's tight. We gotta pull it up, and we're stapling everything into place. So obviously 4 wires, stapling on every wire, right? The thing with staples, we went down the other day because they said they had barbed staples, and the staples weren't barbed, they were smooth. It says on the package it's barbed, but it's not. To me, see this little spot right there? Right there, you see that? That's what I call a barbed staple. If that's not on there, it's not barbed. Anyways, that little piece, when it goes in, it'll grab in the wood so doesn't pull out so easy. Now at 10.5, 11 inches, here's the wifey, and she can go just a little bit deeper, but
put your finger there.
There. So I've seen lots of guys put staples in and they just drive them right in hard, right into the friggin' wire, and the wire gets pinched a little bit and then it breaks. You always want to have, see that? So it can move a little bit. That way it can slide with hot and cold, expansion, contraction. It can shift back and forth, snow load. It can allow it to shift back and forth, and it's not going to break right at the friggin' wire. So I've got marks on the hammers. See, let's show us that mark. You see the mark right there, guys? So that's our height for our wires. And the wife and I are going to go to town, put some staples in. You go, girl. Just like that. So we're running. Hey?
Get to work.
Get to work. Yeah. We're running 2-inch staples. We've got 4 to 5 inch posts here, so there's lots of posts. Lots of posts for the staples to fit in. So we got half a mile of stapling to do, whether we get it all done today with this overcast the way it is. To be honest with you guys, I hope we get rained out. But that's where we started, at the gateway, and we're heading her on down the line all the friggin' way down there, 1/4 mile that way. When we're done that, then we'll go the other direction. But there you can maybe see some of the wires stapled up right there. Looks good to me. I'm liking it. Anyway, time to get to work. Talk to you guys later. Alrighty, so here we are. Nailed in. Can't really see that bottom wire. It's in the grass a little bit. Now some people might ask, well, how high do you have that top wire? Well, for me, I'm somewhere in between 5'7" and 5'8". I'm not an overly tall bugger, but basically mid-rib, so about 3'10". How's that sound? Post should be set basically at 4 feet, and we're about 3 inches off the top of the post, so 3'9", 3'10" in that area, and then you take off with your measurements from there. So I came along, jumped ahead of the wife, nailed the top wire all along so that we've got it set where I like it. And then she's following in behind, nailing in. I nailed lots of all 4 wires all the way down too, and she was picking up what I did not nail. And now I'll go back here and pick up nailing the rest of the wires, like right here. You can see staple right there, but nothing the rest of them. So from that point to the very end, I nailed everything. And then from here to where she is, way down there, is how much is left of this 1/4 mile. So we'll be done here in no time. 15-20 minutes, we'll have this side cased up. Anyway, back to you guys in a bit. Like a pro, just like that. Never missed once. She's a pretty good nailer, guys. Don't piss her off. I've seen her with a gun too. Anyway, talk to you later. Well, guys, all 4 wires are strung. All 4 wires are tight. All 4 wires are stapled. Like, I don't know how you guys feel, how tight you think a wire this should be, but that's pretty friggin' tight. So down here, where these grater blades were, on these grater blades, I don't know if you guys remember, like, see how I just take smooth wire, and this is a soft wire, this here. We just run it through the hole. I run it through 2 times, give it a twist on the backside. That's all it's required to hold that wire. And it can still slide. It's not real tight, so it can slide back and forth there. Also, on these grater blades. I don't remember if I said this before, but I took 12-inch long half by half square bar and welded it on an angle. So here, let me grab a stick. So I had two of them. So I put one welded on like that on the one side, and one welded on so it stuck up like this on the other side. That way it helps grab, and that's right at the bottom of the grater blade. These grater blades are 8 feet long, so when they're in the ground 4 feet anyway, or 3.5 at least, they'll grab the dirt so it helps hold it in the friggin' ground. Because if it was just a straight grater blade going through a valley plus a water run right here, then guaranteed they'll pull up, they'll pull out. But these grater blades, they've got holes every 12 inches to bolt onto the grater, so this works really well for us, right? Works great for a steel post, and it'll last longer and be stronger than your standard steel post. And you get these for, like, I don't know, depends on your RM or your local construction company that repairs the roads, grid roads in your area. Couple bucks to maybe $5, you'll be able to buy them. Hell of a lot cheaper than buying a steel fence picket, which is not even half the weight of these things. And those are what, $7, $8, $9, depending on the length you get. So this concludes our build for now, I believe. This is it for now, right? Right? Yeah? She's on her phone. Typical. Freaking millennial. She's a freaking millennial on her phone. See that? See that? Anyways, giving her a hard time. If I don't, nobody will. This concludes how to build your own 4-wire fence, 3-wire fence, 6-wire fence. I don't care. It's all the same, guys. It's all the same. A little bit of time, your own effort. You guys can all do this. I don't care who you are. I showed you everything that I do. And you can cut costs by using used material in some areas. Other areas, I suggest for posts, I suggest getting 4 to 5 inch posts, minimum 6 feet long. That way you know they're going to be there for a while. If you're on really good flat land and you don't have very pushy cattle, you could get away with 3 to 4s, I guess. I know lots of guys use 3 to 4s. I've bought and used a lot of 3 to 4s myself. But for here, it's a perimeter fence. And I don't want to have to be bothered with this sucker for a good 20 plus years. When I'm ready to retire off of here at 75, 80, that's what the next guy can deal with this friggin' fence. How's that sound? I'll maintain it from now until then, but yeah. But the next segment of our series of build your own 4-wire fence will be on gates. We gotta build a gate for here. So with that, give us the old thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and what do we say, babe?
Get her done.
Get her done. Talk to you guys later.